The Gospel for the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time brings us the familiar story of Jesus visiting the home of his friends, Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. You will recall that Martha, wanting to make their dear friend feel at home, got busy preparing the meal, the dining area, and so forth, while Mary, as the evangelist tells us, sat at Jesus' feet listening to his stories. When she notices that Mary isn't helping her, Martha appeals to Jesus, asking him to tell her sister to start helping. To which Jesus answers, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and worried about many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, and it will not be taken from her." Now, hearing this, I can almost imagine Martha looking up and saying, "Oh my goodness, he's going to side with her." And, well, based on what Jesus said, a committed follower of his might be tempted to conclude from this gospel incident that prayer is more important than service. But is that what Jesus is really trying to teach? Is he saying that service to others, that feeding the hungry, healing the sick, visiting prisoners, and other forms of ministry are not as important as prayer? In the Sermon on the Mount, which summarizes the core of his message, doesn't Jesus teach, "Blessed are the merciful, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, blessed are the peacemakers"? So, we're back to the question, is prayer more important than action? Perhaps the key to understanding the story is in Jesus telling Martha, "You are anxious and worried about many things." I think Jesus spoke these words with great kindness, not as a reproach. Was he not gently teaching Martha that service based on anxiety and worry is rooted on a fragile foundation because it does not spring from a sincere relationship with God? Genuine prayer flows into service, and genuine service flows back into prayer. And what does our Lasallian tradition say about prayer and action? Well, what are the two key words of our spirituality? The spirit of faith and the spirit of zeal. It is not faith or zeal, it is faith and zeal. In his rules I impose upon myself, and specifically rule number 3, St. Salle offers us this central teaching. He says, "It is a good rule of life to make no distinction at all between the work of our vocation in life and the work of our salvation and perfection. Be sure that you cannot work out our salvation better or achieve perfection more surely than by discharging our responsibilities, provided that we accomplish them in view of the will of God." And he ends saying, we must try to keep this precept ever in mind. So, genuine prayer flows into service, and genuine service flows back into prayer. When I speak to teachers, I try to make St. Lasalle's words very concrete by telling them, if you're supposed to be in the classroom teaching your students, please do not be in the chapel praying. If you're supposed to be at a faculty meeting, please do not be attending Mass. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Teaching your class, attending a meeting, this, as St. Lasalle says, is the way you carry out the work of your salvation and perfection. Or, putting it in more contemporary terms, this is how God is inviting you into a deeper relationship with Him. Yes, there is a time for prayer and worship, and yes, there is a time for action that is grounded on prayer, on one's loving relationship with God. So, back to the question, is prayer more important than service? I think the refrain from today's responsorial psalm summarizes the answer in these words. He who does justice will live in the presence of the Lord. God bless you.